What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mode video. So the update for Season 3 has officially been launched for I believe the Korean version as well as the Vietnamese. I think Garena's going to get it within maybe an hour or so, but as for us, we're probably going to get it later on down the line. But the patch notes are out, so of course we are going to go over it one by one. Also, by the way, all of this was found by leakers on duty, so yeah, all credit goes to them. So the first thing that comes out on the list is the HVK30. So I did make a video about this yesterday, and yeah, it pretty much confirms everything that I said. It's going to add a damage multiplier for the chest and upper arms, as well as improving the range. I'm assuming this is for just the base mag. It's not for large caliber, but because it does have its own section that says adjusted damage as well as adjusted range. So we don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. They didn't really specify whether or not they improved the range and damage or they decreased both. So obviously, like before, it doesn't really provide any details about the multipliers or the actual damage that it changed to, but yeah, it's still pretty interesting either way. Don't worry, I'll be making a video on the updated HVK. I'll have a class up for you guys once that update does come out, but yeah, let's go on to the next one. So now moving on to the ICR1 base damage improved from 26, 24, 20, and 19. But it did improve to 30, 28, and 24. So yeah, it's a pretty significant improvement. As for a headshot multiplier, I'm not really that sure. It did say it's increased as well as the range. So yeah, this thing's going to be quite a monster. And I'm glad because the fire rate isn't as great as like the KN-44 or the LK-24. So I guess with a slower fire rate, I guess it's just right to have higher damage, just slightly higher. But I don't really think it's going to change too much. I'm not sure if it's gonna change the meta, but yeah, let's just see what happens. So now we come to the M4. So headshot, upper arm, and hand damage multiplier has been increased. So the 4-shot kill potential is going to be a lot more generous than it was ever before. Another change that I do find welcoming is also the ADS time reduced. So if you guys notice, if you do put the Ranger or even the Marksman barrel, it is very, very strict on the weapon. Like a 17% ADS speed with like a 5 or 6% movement decrease. Yeah, it's very strict when it comes to the M4. But I'm glad that they're kind of like mitigating all these types of issues to give it a little bit more speed. Because I feel like for the weapon that it was, you know, the low damage and everything, it kind of sucked that it was also slow. But also there is an accuracy improvement, but I don't really think that was necessary because, I mean, the M4 is among one of the most accurate assault rifles in the game, at least for me. But yeah. So another change that they made was for the Peacekeeper MK2. So I know this is kind of surprising because the Peacekeeper was just buffed recently and now it's just receiving another one. So what they did was increase the first damage range as well as the chest and upper arm multiplier has been increased as well. So I could tell that the 4-shot kill potential is going to be even more lenient than it was before. Well, to be honest, it wasn't really that lenient even if you were accurate because for the most part, sometimes it was really inconsistent. I don't know if it was just me, but sometimes it would be a 4-shot kill, sometimes it would be a 5-shot kill, sometimes even a 6. I don't know what was wrong with the Peacekeeper, but it kind of felt like it was really inconsistent. It really couldn't make up its mind when it came to its kill potential. And I feel like doing this could kind of mitigate the issue. I don't know if it's kind of overkill for the Peacekeeper. We're going to have to wait and see, but yeah, this one I'm going to keep an eye on. So now moving on to another really controversial change in my opinion. For the FR556, everyone knows that, you know, when you use this weapon, you have to deal with the horizontal recoil. I mean, that's one of the biggest downsides of using this weapon. But it does say here that it decreases the vertical recoil instead, and it also provides a leg damage multiplier increase. The leg damage thing, I guess, whatever. I mean, it still 4-shots pretty well anyways without it. But the vertical recoil thing is the one that I have the issue with because the vertical recoil for the FR was just fine. The main problem was the horizontal recoil and that there's just way too much of it. There was no need to decrease the vertical recoil when that wasn't the primary problem. So now that we cleared all the buffs that were done in this version, now it's time to get down to the nerfs. So the first thing that does come up is the SPR-208. So obviously the SPR is one of, if not the best marksman rifle for this game right now, aside from the SKS. So what they did was damage to the hands and abdomen reduced. So this is kind of weird because no one really asked for an SPR nerf. No one really had a problem with it. Yes, it's a very easy weapon to use, but then again, so are fucking snipers and every other marksman rifle besides the Kilo. So I don't really understand why they had to make a change like this. I mean, even on Twitter, I did see some responses towards this change, and they're thinking the same thing. Everyone's just like, well, who the fuck asked for this? It wasn't necessary. And look, even though this thing might not be as effective as it was before, I mean, we still have the MK2, which has some pretty decent one-shot kill potential. The only problem I have with that one is that the ADS movement speed is pretty slow for that one. That's why I kind of prefer the SPR a little bit more. But I mean, yeah, doing a nerf like this just wasn't really necessary because no one was complaining about it. So now we move on to another weird and unnecessary change. Reduce the slowing down effect of the Frag 12 rounds when paired with disable perk using the Jack 12. So, okay, first off, the Frag rounds suck ass. I mean, of course, people would either aim for the basic rounds or even the slug rounds. So, I don't see why using the Frag rounds was even a problem. I have never seen anyone complain about the Frag round other than it just sucks. But yeah, I guess that's cool. So now here comes a very, very welcoming change, at least in my eyes. I know you guys are going to hate me for this, but the Kilo mag penalties, they really decrease the movement speed as well as the reload times for each of these mags, specifically with the 50 round mag. So the reason why this change is necessary is because, I mean, obviously the reload time has always been really fast for the Kilo. It didn't really matter what mag you used. You could use a 30 round, 40 round, 50 round. No matter what, it was always going to be insanely fast. Faster than a lot of assault rifles, in fact. And one reason why I do see this as a necessary change is because of one specific thing of the Kilo, and you guys already know where I'm going with this. It's the headshot multiplier. The headshot multiplier is one of the most deadliest I've ever seen for an assault rifle. It's higher than the Man of Wars, which I think the Man of Wars should have the highest, if anything. But yeah, sometimes you lose gunfights because they just manage to land one headshot on you. And yeah, it's pretty much game over if that happens. And one thing I didn't really take into account is the fact that a lot of people don't really use toughness. So, I mean, with me, I always use it. I mean, I don't like flinch, but for others, that actually serves as a beneficial thing because, you know, when you're shooting them and they're shooting you at the same time, they could actually flinch up and accidentally hit you in the head. Thus, they could actually end up winning the gunfight instead of you, even if you shot first. And that's one of the major problems I have with the Kilo, especially going against people with it. I mean, for me, I don't really use it too much. I mean, for me, I use either KN-44, Peacekeeper, or just any other 4-shot weapon that doesn't fucking one-tap to the head. But yeah, I feel this change was absolutely necessary, and, you know, it keeps people from spamming this weapon pretty hard. Keep in mind, these are changes only to the magazines. It has nothing to do with the actual damage. So I believe headshot multipliers as well as just chest multipliers and everything are just going to remain the same. So now we come into another fantastic change for this game, the katana. So the range was decreased, hit registration delay is also increased. So finally, no more getting shanked from across the universe. I could tell you this with 100% accuracy. All my deaths that come from a katana really involve them not actually hitting me at all. So yeah, thank God that it has finally been changed. I'm assuming they're just going to move on to like some other melee weapon, but yeah, I'm glad that the range was decreased for this thing because it really had to be done. So I was kind of wrong saying that there was no more buffs, but there actually was one more. So there is a change for the chopper gunner. They did increase the range as well as the damage. So something to keep in mind there if you ever want to use a chopper gunner. Also, I believe there is another change for the CR56 AMAX, but it wasn't really specified within these notes. So if there ever is some sort of, I guess, update on that, I will make a separate video for that. But as of right now, let's just focus on the remaining changes. So now we move on to the Orbital laser. So the Orbital laser also did get nerfed. The duration of it is decreased. From how much, I don't really know. We're going to have to wait and see. Or I guess just by basic observation. I mean, if we notice that it goes away sooner, I mean, obviously, yeah, it's been decreased. As for maximum movement range, I'm assuming that depending on where you place it, or I guess how much you want it to move, I'm assuming that it got decreased as well, but I don't really think it matters because don't most people just keep it in one place. So I guess that's a welcoming change. But yeah, the orbital laser was nerfed. Hopefully it's something good enough so, I mean, it won't become such a detriment to hardpoint. So as for the final change, I know before I actually get into it, I know a lot of you guys are going to be extremely happy. So get a bucket or something because you guys are about to jizz a lot after you hear about this. So now let's move on. The K9 unit has officially been nerfed, so the health and speed has been decreased. I'm not really sure if they addressed the fact that, you know, sometimes it's not shown on the map accurately. You know, it'll show that's in one place, but it's really just still chasing after you without actually moving on the map. So yeah, I think they need to change that as well. Hopefully they did. Maybe that was bug fix that they actually are going to explain in, you know, their own official patch notes. But yeah, the K9 unit health and speed decreased finally, for fuck's sake. Thank God. I'm so happy that the K9 unit, no more easy kills. If you want to get kills, just fucking use a purifier or annihilator or something like that, because dude, the K9 unit was the most cancerous thing in this game in terms of operator skills. So yeah, anyways, that's pretty much all the changes I want to address for today. There's not really anything else, but if there's more in the future, don't worry, I'll update you guys as we go along. But yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe for some more COD mobile content. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.